Good morning, everyone. So this morning, in my morning coffee time journaling, I'm going to show you something a little different than what I've shown so far. In that, what I oftentimes do is I've told you guys I always use my journal for working through ideas. This is just a place where if I have ideas, I'm just sitting, oftentimes in my mind's eye, I'll see different kind of images or colors coming together, or just different things I want to experiment with, textures, layering different papers over each other, using different glues, stuff like that, just to see how things are going to react. Um, Layering different paint colors behind the prints, so that when I actually am working in the studio on my large scale pieces, I've like really worked through a lot of texture, color, line, all that kind of thing, the things we're working right now with in the elements of art. So, so one of the things that I want to work through today is I'm actually working on another journal. I think I've told you guys this before, but I have tons of different journals going. And this is like the Midori style notebook journal. Let's see. So this is one that I've used for years. I've had this one now for about, I don't know, 5 years or so. And this is the one I've used a lot. And this is a brand new one that I just made using the same leather because I had a real big hide. And I've made this into different size journals. This is a smaller size of that same journal. So both of these I've been using for 5 years. And look how beautifully the leather is worn compared to the new one, which they all still look good, right? So this is just some fabulous leather. But anyway, and I use this for like where I keep a lot of my my notes and everything, as well as I've just sort of moved this around a bit, as well as I do this kind of junk sort of journaling in it, where I'll put a lot of my prints and things in there. And then even when I'm traveling and things like that, I'll oftentimes take this type of journal and work with it as well, or just kind of have an on-the-go journal when I have ideas or I'm out and about. I'll have this type of journal with me versus this one. So it just kind of constantly keeps, I'm just sort of like a journaling fanatic. So you guys probably know that by now. So that's why we're just working with this one and get you guys going. But I'm showing you these because I'm working through some new ways of journaling in these, and I'm going to use this journal as a way to work through some of my ideas. And so I thought I would show you guys in the journal that we're using versus going to a different journal and showing you that. That way you guys can see how I consistently do use this one to work through my ideas. This right here is the same type of journal as this. So I'm kind of working through these ideas for another course that I'm doing. But anyway, so I'm showing you guys a lot of this stuff over here though, so no worries. And I was doing one that was made out of leather and then one that's made out of cloth. Because I know, people don't necessarily, a lot of people have different reactions about leather. And so don't want to use leather, and I understand that. So I also have a fabric version, although now that I think about this fabric version, I still put a little bit of leather on the edge. Oh, anyway. But so this one is fabric, but just showing people how they can do it so that they, do it yourself. And then inside is actually one of my jelly prints. And this whole thing has been sort of sewn. Just kind of showing you guys the inside of it. And then we have these tabs that will actually hold, say, get to the center. It actually holds the, and this one I'm still working through just to show you guys. So then this would go in here. And then these pages have jelly prints, these papers I like to work with, blank pages to write on, onion skin that's been eco dyed. All these papers have been dyed. So this is actually coffee stained. More jelly prints. So here is, and then what I'm doing is I actually then use these pages to journal, to do my intuitive scripting, to write, like sort of more like traditional journaling style. So if you guys like traditional journaling, that's kind of what I'm working through with these two journals. So I'm going to show you today some of the ideas that I'm thinking about. So I have a whole stack of stuff here, and I'm going to show you the papers first. Some of them you'll already have recognized. So I have some good old-fashioned masking tape. I like working with masking tape. And then I use the masking tape to make some of my own washi tape. I did that before we came on camera. And I just laid it down and stamped it with you know, my rubber stamp that I've made years ago, you know, my circle pattern on, which I love. And then this dye ink pad in Raven. It's a Ranger product. And what I like about it is that once it's down there, you can use other mediums on it and it won't smear or bleed or anything like that. So just keep that in mind when you're using a rubber stamp. If you're going to do other things over, make sure you use something that's like a dye ink, a permanent ink. And then that way it won't get all smushy. So I have that there that I'm going to use. And then I just pulled a lot of papers. This is some of that vintage onion skin with the red lines on it. This was used a lot in legal documents. You know, this is one of my jelly prints. Well, it's actually one of my, it's a photocopy of some intuitive scripting over a book page. You guys have seen that before. I'll show you these in a minute. I have, I have this washi tape that I got. I like these little dots on it. I like, you know, black and white anyhow. It reminds me of sort of like the dominoes. So I'll probably use that. This is photocopies of stuff. Well, this is just an old piece of drawing paper. They had just a little edge of pink paint on it. See that? So I may use that some kind of way. And then these are photocopies of an old botanical book that I have. So this is on just sort of regular letterhead paper that we talk about. This right here, so it's the same thing, only in on the onion skin, because I wanted to sort of play around with transparencies. You know, this Old Faithful, you know, I love my Chinese dictionary book that I got when I was in Australia visiting my friend Bindi. And oh, I love this. This is just endless inspiration. And that's the same thing, again, on resume paper. This is a different image from the book. And this is a compilation of some, I actually photocopied it, so it's one page. But this is some of my intuitive scripting that I've done years and years ago. This is a really old, and I did this with the Sumi brush, so it's kind of hard to see the entire pattern. Here's a photocopy of the pattern. I actually have it somewhere. I don't know what I did with it. The actual one I was going to show you guys. But anyhow, this is a photocopy of, and this I did years ago. I mean, I know this is 20-something years old. This particular done on handmade paper. When I find this, I will show it to you guys. And then these are some old ephemera that I got years ago in a flea market in Paris, Marché aux Puces. And I printed them on onion skin. And these actually I did, like, these are really old too, because I used to use these on jewelry boards. When I sold my jewelry, I used to lay it right on here and use these as backgrounds. And then since I wasn't using those boards anymore, I literally pulled them off. That's why this is ripped there. But I like reusing it. So what I did is I literally layered these over each other, and then I photocopied it to come up with this. So, you know, you can do those type of things when you want to kind of collage your pieces before you actually start collaging. And then I have some other interesting things here. Like for instance, this is this paper is real sticky. I'm trying to keep them sticking to each other. This is some fabric paper, origami fabric paper that I got. I'll show you. This is origami fabric paper, and it really is nice. I love the texture of it because it really does. I don't know if you can sort of pick up the texture, but I get to focus. It really does look like fabric. So I like this this sort of Indian ink, midnight blue, kind of black. It's like a check, but it's a real deep, deep, deep blue, like an indigo. And then these little florals I liked because of the botanical background. So I might think about how I'm gonna use those. I have a glassine envelope that I thought I would play around with. And then, as much as I really don't use a lot of the these journaling things that you get at the what do you call it, like Michael's and places like that, I know a lot of people do. So when I'm doing the journaling program, the class that I'm working on right now, like I said, I know a lot of people do use them, and maybe many of you guys have like a ton of this stuff, and you're like, yeah, some of it I like, some of it I don't, whatever. But I really do like Tim Holtz. He does a nice one. This one is called Thrift Shop. It's an older one called Thrift Shop, but there's a lot of neat things in here, and I did find like a little stamp that I liked. A little stamp that I thought would go. Oh, trying to get the focus. That I thought would go with what I'm working on. But there is a lot of nice little seals and little things like this that you can really use when you are journaling. And, you know, if you're traveling and you have a theme, or you just want some little bits and bobs that add interest to what you're doing. Like this is a root sign. It doesn't have a number on it. How great is that for when you're doing your travel journal and you're on a particular route and you want to put like the route that you're on? You can literally write it on a little something like this. There's some neat things in here. Here's a dress form. So there are some, like I do look for interesting, this is a card, one of those game cards. So, I mean, I do look for interesting things when I can find them. If I do, I'll pick them up, like if something catches my eye. So we are going to use that little stamp. So I'm going to play around with some of these, but I just wanted to show you guys this. And I do this too because I know a lot of people have this. So if you're developing your own style of journaling and of doing your art, but you do want to incorporate other things in them, even found ephemera. What's the difference between this and a found stamp? I use old stamps. So you may not have them, or you can't resource them. So sometimes these little packs like this, when they have things in them that resonate with you, they are nice to pick them up. And so, you know, we can also use them. So I'll show you that. So that's the kind of things I'm thinking about journaling with this morning. I have no idea of exactly how this is going to come along, but we shall see. I'm sitting here looking at this picture that was sent to me by Lisa. She's one of the members in the Art Mythos group. And she put a cute little package together with me of all little kind of bits and bobs. She had some punchella in there that I like. She had little different Frida pictures, and some of her own work that she had, papers that she had photocopied. They were beautiful. And this little picture right here, oh, I love it. So I put it right here. Thanks, Lisa. I never really get like gifts or anything like that. You know, not that I asked for them, but I like to see other people, and they're like, oh, so-and-so sent me this, and oh, everybody sends them stuff. And I'm like, oh, and then Lisa sent me something. I'm like, oh, I got somebody sent me something. I know you guys probably think this woman's weird, but anyway. So my coffee's almost gone because I've been here for a while working this through, although I did have, it wasn't espresso, so I made it like an Americano. So, and it wasn't a lot in there. All right, let's get going. So, put the stuff to the side. I'll figure this out. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to work in blocks because I definitely want this to have sort of a journaling vibe to it. Like the idea of actually making a journaling page concept. So let's just sort of figure out what that would look like. We take some of this paper first and rip it. So let's say if in terms of, I'll just kind of start playing with the idea, like how I would block it off. Because when you're doing journaling pages, you do think in terms of sort of blocking things off. So I do want to leave space for the scripting, but at the same time, you guys kind of think in terms of okay, so maybe something like that here. And I'm going to take some of this, do a similar thing. You know, I like leaving the edges on this particular one. I don't know, I just like the fact that it looks like a dictionary. So if I put that at the bottom of the page like that. And definitely want to use some of this. I'll put it right up against that. So I'll probably do something like that. And put some tape there. I'm going to put something right in there. Oh, I know. I'll use guys can see I'm just working it through. It's kind of what you have to do when you're sort of figuring out and just sort of working through this page layout. So I like this so far. And let me see. Where's my other? Here it is. I'm going to might put this in that space. Okay, so I'm just sort of cutting around this image. Let me just get it off of here first. It's easier that way. Okay, so just kind of going around it a little bit just to loosely follow the shape of the flower, not exact. It doesn't have to be. Okay. Alrighty, so I think I'm gonna put that right in here because remember I'm thinking about it in terms of journaling, a journaling layout. So I want to have a place to write in there and here. So you guys know me, kind of hard to get away from the paint. So I wanted to lay it out first and then sort of figure out the kind of paint I wanted to use. And I really do like, let's see, I do like this Timeless a lot. I've been using that a lot as just a background color. And it's that decor art. It's just a little cheap paint, but it really does a nice thing. And I can write over this with my pens. I already know I can do that. So pull my pens out here. I think my pens are everywhere because I have another area that I journal in. And I think some of them are over there. But fear not, because I should have one that's not open. That's a gold one. That's nice. So I can open a new one. I have this brush tip, which is good. So you guys see exactly, this is how I'm working when I'm working through ideas, you know. Let me see about this one. I should be able to use this one. So I want a loose one and I want sort of a tight one. Okay, this is good. Alrighty. Okay, so I'm gonna use that Timeless. And then I have my basis is down and then I can start figuring out what else. Okay, so let's get this down. Just put a little bit right up. I'm gonna put a little bit here. You know, with me journaling, you could just do it right on the white paper too. But I just feel like it's a little too stark since I have such warm tones here. What is going on with this paint? Just do it like this. I don't understand. I'm like, so I know I want some right here, and I know that I wanted some in here. A little bit more. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's perfect. This is such a great color. Have you guys been using this Timeless by Deco Art? Comment in the group if you have been. I'm just curious. I just think it's one of the best sort of neutrally kind of background colors that they just blends with so much. Okay, so now I'm ready to begin gluing things down. Let's get this stuff off the way. And alrighty. Let me get a piece of paper to glue on. Use this right here. Okay, so let's start at the top. Glue stick. Yeah, I'm enjoying this whole process. I'm looking forward to starting that new journal. I'll show you guys as we go. I'll show you bits and pieces of it over here in the membership. I'm actually working on a whole new platform online. It's connected to my website, but I want to just have a better place to put all of my classes. And I'm actually going to be converting in the next week or so. Well, I go on vacation, but when I come back, I'm converting all of what we're doing here in the membership over to this new platform. It's called Teachable. And I've actually built an online school over there. And so what's cool about it is that this is good. Okay. What's nice about it is that it'll make it's so much easier for all of us. When you go in there, you'll see all your classes, everything that you've already taken. It still is like a drip format, so you still will get things in an order, so you're not overwhelmed. But you literally can go back and see things again without having to have saved them on your computer trying to find them. So I know that becomes a challenge because now there's so much material that we've already gone through in the last 2 months alone. And, it can be challenging finding that. And I know some of you guys have been trying to find stuff, or things, you get lost or you accidentally delete them. And so I hear you guys, and I want to make this as easy and as comfortable a learning tool as possible. So I started researching it, and I found this platform. So I've spent this month transferring everything over, including all this current stuff. And so you'll be getting something from me saying that we're ready to go live, and it interfaces with PayPal. So you don't have to worry about doing that over again. It'll just transfer. It's behind the scenes, so you won't even see it, but you may see something new that says Teachable or something. I don't know. I have to see how it goes, but you shouldn't have to reface or anything like that. Hopefully it won't be. But I'll keep you posted on that. But I'm also over there, we'll be doing other kinds of little journaling things and what have you. And when you go over there, there's actually there'll be some free stuff over there too. Like I have a free how to do flat lays for Instagram video. And I did it when I was in Venice. A large part of it I did when I was in Venice. So it sort of shows you how I, look for stuff when I'm traveling, and me with my travel journaling. So anyhow, I'm just sharing that with you guys that that'll be coming. Well, no, I always think like the top should be covered some kind of way. Okay, so where am I now? So I have that. I have this. It's going to go there. Oh, I love that. Like that. This is coming together. See, that looks good like that. And let me see. I think I'll put some of that across like that. Yay, I like it. Alrighty, so that'll go there. And then let's see. I feel like, oh, I know what I want. I am restricting my use of things, but you guys know me, I'm always, I think I'm gonna take one of these blocks. So see, this is laid out, dictionary style in a block. And I feel like I want sort of a block going on around in here somewhere. So I'm just going to rip out one of these sections the way it's formatted. It's kind of cool. And see how I'm gonna use it. Okay. Alrighty. So I kind of feel like I want something here, but I didn't want it to be, okay. You can do something like that, yeah. And then, because I'm doing this so that I can sort of write around it. Or maybe I want it down there like that. Yeah, I'm gonna do it like this. And then I could use this space to write. And the same thing over here. Okay, perfect. Let me glue this down. I think we're just about done. And this is the whole idea when you're journaling like this. And what happens is that the more you do this style journaling, the more you get a rhythm for, you know, where you're going to put things, and you kind of get your, it's like anything with line, shape, texture, color. Once you sort of get the way you like to grid or the way you want to write in them, it becomes easier to lay your page out. Right now I'm struggling because I'm working with new elements, and also this page is a different size than the one I will be working in, which is fine, but you know, there's some considerations to that as well. That's good. Wow, look at that. What I like about this onion skin is like, because it goes down transparent, I'm going to cut all these little tabs off. It's almost like it's a sticker or a stamp or something. You see, like you can see the variation in color there, but see how it just laid right over top of this text there? And the same thing here. So it's almost like a way of making your own kind of stickers out of vintage stuff. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this across the top a bit. Just like like that there. Okay. Let's see. Something like that. It's good. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and trim these edges, and then let's do some actual journal scripting as I would in the journal itself. Here's my little stamp. I do want to use this, but I'll figure where this will go afterwards. Alrighty. Okay, so here we are. So far, so good. This top piece here. So that's what it's looking like. Yay. That's pretty good. This isn't my other paper I have underneath there, but. So how cool is that? So that's like, you know, sort of set up to think about in terms of journaling around it. So let's get going. I'm going to put some, so I always start off with my intuitive scripting. Even when I'm journaling and I'm writing about something, I always start with this. I don't know, it feels like it sort of helps me to kind of get the flow of my mind going. Okay, so see, I'm thinking my way through this one. this one. So here again, as I'm working, I do think about different things that I don't know, just stuff comes to my mind. Like I just wrote, as I journey along in life, so many things um, weed themselves out of my life and other things seed. And I don't know, I just see that picture. It's just like, that's how journaling is for me. Like I'll just start, sitting down and then things come up, like, maybe things I didn't realize I was thinking about, or maybe it becomes an indicator that I'm, the journey for me is changing, you know what I mean? Or I may be in a place of transition, things like that. So basically what I would do is just keep on writing and fill the page up, basically. So I don't know if you guys want to sit here with me while I do this. So what I'll do is I'm gonna do a little bit more of this here because I like the idea of, so sometimes what I like to do is I'll do my intuitive scripting up because it's like a little chain. Sort of just makes a pattern. Like that, because then when I come and finish writing, I will write around here like that. So here is today's morning journaling. So this gives you a good idea of how I journal. And I journal I use, our alphabetic text to write, and I use my inscriptive text. And it's funny because it's like when I start off always with this intuitive scripting, and then like my mind starts flowing and things come up, and then I begin actually writing those thoughts down. But I also wanted to put my little stamp down, my little nod to Tim Holtz. So then once, I've basically kind of figured out where I was writing, then I'll come back and add some of the smaller elements. Like I want to put this in somewhere. I don't know. I feel like I want to put it right down in here. So it sort of overlaps a little bit of the text that I wrote. But the color goes so nicely down in there, you see. And then I had this tape as well, which I love. So let's just get a piece of this. And this is the kind of thing you can do. You can just keep on building your page up when you're done. Like you're collaging with these elements. If I can get this tape started. And I have the Tim Holtz, you call it, tapes as well. There are ones that have, I think you guys have seen me use them. I want to just use them. They have the script on them, and I like using those also. Let's cut that off. It's starting to tear funny. And I think I'll just sort of put these over here like that. And it's nice because it's, it's transparent. So you can still see, I love layers. So you can still see the layer underneath. So here, you know, we still see the text that's underneath there. So it just makes like another layer. And I like the way it juxtaposes, you know, the polka dots here and this sort of square checkerboard there. And it's like up here, it's mirrored. So it's just kind of mirroring elements, playing with elements, and at the same time, leaving yourself plenty of space here to write and to put your ideas down. So this is good. I needed to do this, and I'm sure I'll continue. But as I move forward, these concepts will get worked into, say, this kind of structure. So you see in here, there's all kind of things. Like these are old, that's why I call these my jelly junkadories, like from Midori, Junkadori, and the jellies, because these are all like just jelly pages, you know, stuff that we roll off on, and they still are really pretty colors and stuff. Why throw these away? So these are just great for using as a beginning place. So like if this were a beginning place for me, like I would begin with this there already. So now I'm going to lay this down. You know, I may actually put just a, you know, swath of a clear paint like this, so that there's a place that I can write on, where I can use my white pen and write over this. So that's the kind of thing I'm gonna work through. So when it's done, it's like you're taking and using your jelly, old jelly prints and just eco dye papers and all that stuff we love to do. This is actually an old collage print that I did years ago when I sold a lot of stuff to the surface design industry. And so I just literally just did a Xerox of it. I think on the back is a different one that I did. So I Xeroxed these prints and just put them in there. This is an envelope here with some this washi tape that I found that's like stamps. So cute. And that becomes a pocket to put things in. So anyway, that's kind of what I was playing with here that I'll start doing more in this journal. And I'll share some of that with you guys during the morning coffee times when I'm working in that. I'll actually share some of that with you. All righty. So that's what this morning looks like. So keep journaling, keep doing all the things you're doing, keep experimenting, keep thinking about the various elements of art and the prompts that I send on Sunday. And those are there not so much for you to like feel like you have to do them all like clockwork, but they're different. There definitely are ways maybe to stimulate your thinking. Maybe there's things around your art that you hadn't thought about before. And those prompts, they really are journaling prompts. They're just designed to help you to think maybe differently about your work while you continue to work. You continue to work on projects. You guys have a lot of different things that are going on in your studio. The whole idea of this membership class is not only to help you stay consistent, because I know that's a big thing for all of us artists, is remain consistent, but also like, you know, you go to your studio, you're ready to work, but you're like, what do I do today? I don't know what to do. Well, the prompts are there to say, okay, that's right. Robin sent me this prompt about shapes. Okay, let me just play with shapes, you know, because it's a place to begin. And then from there, you know, your mind and your own creativity takes over. So just look at this, this membership course as, you know, like I'm just your accountability partner. I'm there to just kind of be that voice in your studio to encourage you. Just keep on working. There's no rights or no wrongs. It's all play. It's all fun. And don't worry about like trying to do everything exactly to the letter of whatever I put out there, because that's not really the intention of it either. You can do it like that. You can be as tight or as loose as you want with this course. Just know the whole purpose of it for me designing it was to try to keep it at a really, really low price point, like, you know, $25 a month. I mean, like they always say, how many Starbucks coffees is that? You're like, you know, 4 or whatever. But at the same time, you know, so it's really affordable. But my whole goal is to give you so much of myself and so much encouragement, and just knowing that I'm always there, that there's something that's going to come through your box that is just going to keep you encouraged, keep you in the flow, or just be that friend. If you know, I know a number of you are using this as just as art therapy, you know, you're going through a healing process, or you've moved to a new place and you don't know anybody. and you just want to stay connected to other artists. So this is a way to stay connected. And so just look at it like that. You know, it's all of that kind of thing going on. So, yep. I think that's everything for right now. So just wanted to say that because I know a lot of you email me and you're sharing different things with me. And I notice over in the Facebook group, a lot of times you go to share something, you say, I know this is not a part of our journaling thing, but I want to share it. No, it's totally about sharing it. Totally. Do not worry about whether or not, and as I'm talking to you, I had another idea. Don't worry about whether or not it's specific to what I sent out. That's not the point of it. The point of it is that we do want to share. I do want to see what you guys are doing too. So, because I get to learn and grow when that's the case as well. Where's that glassine envelope I had? Remember I had that little, what did I do with it? So I had the idea to do something with that. And what'll happen typically is I get off camera. Let me pull that out. I get off camera and wait a minute, I think I have another one. And then I'll remember it and I'm like, oh shucks, I should have showed them this. And okay, here's another one. I don't know what happened to the one I had, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so I was looking at this space right here while I was talking to you guys, and I can write in there, or I can, the idea of putting this little envelope down somewhere is appealing. But what I wanted to show you, I was thinking about, regardless if I put it down or not, is that I wanted to put this on it. So let me just go around this thing. Let's see what it looks like. I just want to see what, where's the other one? This one might be a little too long. Let me just see. I had another one here. Let's see what that flower would look like. Ah, I'm a mess. I know I had two of these done up. Thought I had done two of these. Oh, I did it in that. Okay, so let me use this one. Let's just see how this will go. So just kind of loosely following the form of this flower. It's not going to be, the bag is actually shorter than it, but let's just see how much of this I get on there. I'm not even looking to see if I'm on camera, you guys. I'm like off camera and you guys are trying to figure out, where is she going? I know what I'll do. Just, since this thing has a piece that comes out, let me see first. Okay, first of all, let me just see how this is going to go down on there. Almost feel like I'll just take this piece of it right here. Because I just want to see how it's going to lay down. That's what I'm working on here. Okay. On this glassine. So I'm just going to cut this part off like that. Just take a piece of that away. So that'll go down there like that. Perfect. And then what I'm also going to do is take some of the text. Like this was yellow and orange. Fringe orchids. So I'll take some of this and put this with it. How about that? I didn't even notice it had a place for notes at the bottom of this page, like where it says in the writing, it tells you what it is, and it's notes, because it's like I'm taking this out like a very old field book. See where it says notes? So they're like giving people a place to write their little notes. How cute is that? So I'm gonna leave that, because I can actually, that I can put in on a page. Like, in other words, like I could take and tear that out and just use that section, because it says notes and it's real cute. It's this onion skin paper, and I like the color. Okay, so for what we're doing here, kind of have this idea that I want to just collage this little bag up and see what happens. So maybe down this. It's just short. So I'll do that down the side probably and do it like this or something. Or maybe I'll do it like this. Decisions. Okay, let me just glue it. Let's just see, because I want to see how this is going to look on the bag. That's the first thing. So I think what I'm going to do is put a piece of tape, because I can see where I'm going to want to kind of like just integrate this color a little bit, so it's not so, I kind of wanted to have this sort of field book look to it. This little field notebook look to the envelope. So I put some, there's this masking tape on it, so you can see, little masking tape. And then that sort of gives me a reason to put this at an angle, you know, because I didn't just like that stuck on there like that, because it sort of looked like, oh, it didn't fit. So when I put this element, you guys have a method to my madness, then it, like, if I put this to the side, then it's just like another element. It's not like it's just stuck here at the side. Okay. So I'm gonna put that down here like that. See what I mean? That looks better now. And it has this sort of filled note kind of vibe to it. And then let's just put this on top of it, like that. Okay. Here's my little glue sheet here. I'm gonna rip it. Okay. This is nice. Kind of just gives it like a little old glassine kind of envelope look to it, yeah? That does a good thing. So this paper, I do like that in there. So it's just taking a little glassine bag and using the onion skin. And these are just Xeroxes from old books. So you guys have tons of old books around. Even using a dictionary. Dictionary has so many good things in it. So this is sort of like the masking tape. You can still see through the bag. And so that becomes an element that can be put down on here. I probably won't put it on these pages because I don't want to cover this up. But if I started off with it as a design, you see how cool that would have been, like maybe right here. And it could be, and then it gives a place to, when you're journaling, to put other stuff, or as a part of the travel journal. So I'm gonna keep this stuck in here because I know I'm gonna use that in another journaling spread. And also, I'm gonna put this down in there too, because I will lose this one little teeny scrap of paper with this word notes on it. If I put it in here with my work, then I'll remember it and I'll use it. All right, there we have it. So I'll see you guys in a couple of days. Look, here's a glassine envelope right here, the one I was looking for. All right, guys, happy journaling, and show me what you're doing over in Facebook as always. And until next time, you guys have fun journaling. Bye-bye.